I see you taking a trip to Bone Town in far eastern Essos. You'll visit this town thinking it's something that I'm not going to talk about in this video, but you're nasty. You know why you went to this town. Shame on you. Arriving at Bone Town, you will quickly discover that everything is made of bones, including the bones. Hence, Bone Town. They also trade in aged bones they find, and it's all very suspicious. However, Bone Town is east of the Land of Shrikes, which contain terrifying shrieking monsters, and 𝒿ℏ𝐻𝐷, where there are mad gods. Ooh, and the Cannibal Sands, not a great place. Yeah, so anyways, you'll manage to survive the shrieking monsters, the cannibals, the sands, to make it to Bone Town. After you sleep on a bone bed and sit on a bone couch for a week, you'll be pretty fatigued. Then you'll head out to the dry deep and figure out why there's no life in the valleys, but tons of bones. Yours are going to be included. So you know how dragons are super scary? Well, they have a scarier cousin known as wyverns. Wyverns are close kin to dragons, but they can't breathe fire and they're smaller. But that doesn't matter because these things are pure evil. These tyrants of the sky have great leathery wings and are much more ferocious than dragons. Now, some are more dangerous than others in this area. The brindled wyverns with the jade and white scales can grow to 30 feet tall. Swamp wyverns can grow larger than 30 feet, but they're kind of lazy and don't really go far from their lair. Brown bellies are the size of a monkey, but hunt in packs of 100 or more. Lastly, there's the shadow wing, which is nocturnal. Its black wings and scales make it invisible when it attacks at night. Now, wyverns have an insatiable hunger and cruel beaks to do their killing. This hunger, in case you don't understand, is a hunger for killing you. They want to eat you. That's what's going to happen to you when you visit Sothoros. If you want to know exactly what breed will get you, all of them. It's gonna be really messed up. So there is an island in the Jade Sea you don't ever want to visit, but you're going to because you're just the worst. Located east of the Summer Sea, south of Essos, the Jade Sea contains some interesting locations, but you have to be pretty invested to visit because from Pentos, it takes 2 years to get there by ship. One island you'll visit is the Isle of Whips, a barren and bleak island with not a lot of scenery. Not knowing its true purpose, you'll take a nap on the beach only to wake up to some really bad news. The Isle of Whips belongs to slavers, hence the name. Here is a station where slavers from half a dozen lands come together for fun. And by fun, I mean slavers from these dozen-plus lands come to buy, sell, breed, break, and brand their human slaves before moving onward to a new destination. So congratulations, you're one of the many new slaves they've picked up. You'll eventually, after being broken, be sold to a person in Volantis who tattoos flies on your cheeks. Something they do in Volantis to mark their slaves that collect elephant and horse dung. You crossed a Bolton while they were still kings. Things aren't going to be fun for you. House Bolton had ruled from the Dreadfort as Red Kings thousands of years ago, but eventually the Starks were able to beat them into submission. Not before some really bad things happened at the Dreadfort, though. And maybe still do. The Dreadfort is located in the north on the upper part of the Weeping Water, which, by the way, avoid the Weeping Water as well because some majorly bad things have happened there. House Bolton's sigil is a flayed man because that is a very literal depiction of what they love to do to their enemies. It's said that the Red Kings have cloaks made from the skins of Stark princes they captured over the years. And this flaying is done in a hidden chamber. Don't worry though, you'll find this chamber when you find yourself in it. Your last thoughts before someone that you angered again from House Bolton, good job, flays you? Did you really see skeletal hands holding torches throughout their castle? It's a little too edgy. Yikes, you happen to be in King's Landing during the spring of 209 AC. This is very, very bad for you, and I'm going to tell you why. That's the Great Spring Sickness. The Great Spring Sickness was a plague that came to the Seven Kingdoms in 209 AC and ravaged the realm. The plague hit swiftly. A normal, healthy, robust person could wake up healthy in the morning and be dead by the evening. Now, why this is bad for you being in King's Landing this year? 4 in 10 people died from the disease. The plague was so rampant in King's Landing, the corpses were piled in the ruins of the dragon pit until they were 10 feet high. The plague would finally die out and summer would come. But you won't be seeing summer because you were the 4 in 10 that die. You woke up one morning not feeling well, and you didn't ever really go to bed. If it makes you feel any better, the 7 kingdoms would lose their king, suffer a terrible drought, and then a rebellion that would just absolutely tear the realm apart. you kinda lucked out. For some reason, you decided to go to Hardhome. You know, the place that 600 years before the books had that cataclysmic event that saw the total destruction of the town and death of every living soul in the area. I mean, when the Night's Watch went to investigate all the fire they were seeing from this town, they found a nightmare level of devastation: charred trees, burned bones, and swollen corpses. Then there's the matter of the caves above the town. Ever since that incident, they became known as the Screaming Caves, and from them, blood-chilling shrieks can always be heard. I mean, hell, wildlings and men of the Night's Watch refuse to go to Hardhome, believing it is now haunted by demons, ghouls, and burning ghosts with a taste for blood. Also, you know, a place the wildlings went back to 600 years after that horrible event, and then something terrible also happened to them. But sure, you decided to visit here. So you decided, giving the threat of the others is gone, you'll travel here for a fun trip. You freeze to death less than a mile past the wall. But if you had made it to Hardhome, yeah, super spooky stuff would have happened. You've had a lot of stress in your life lately, and you decide to take a trip to the Summer Islands to blow off some steam. But on your way to the Summer Islands, a storm comes out of nowhere and damages your ship to the point where you're adrift. At least you survive the storm, though. When all seems lost, you see a single-mast ship in the distance, with sails as black as a starless sky and a dark red hull. As it gets closer, you see an Iron Maiden on the front of the ship. Black iron hair, eyes made with mother of pearls, but no mouth. You know this ship. It's the Silence. You're taken in by Euron Greyjoy and his men. Book Euron, by the way, not Shell. Yeah, you're fucked. Euron ends up selling some of you, but most of you, including yourself, are kept to crew his ship. So you go to work for the rest of your life. After he does with you what he does with all his new crew members. Rips out your tongue. His ship's called the Silence for a reason. The Doom of Valyria occurred in 102 AC and saw the end of the Valyrian freehold and the control the Dragon Lords had on Essos. By all accounts following the Doom, the peninsula was shattered and those that ventured there never returned. There are even tales of demons that now haunt the smoking seas. But was all of that created after the Doom? Because before the Doom, the Valyrians had practiced blood magic and dark arts, twisting beasts and humans to make new, monstrous creatures. Some of the results of those practices are still said to cause issues for people that visit the area. All that doesn't bother you though, the creepy history, the likelihood of dying, because you want to visit the once powerful freehold. You need to see it with your own eyes. You should have learned your history and why the Targaryens banned people from going there. You arrive on the Shattered Peninsula. Congratulations, you made it through the Smoking Sea, and yeah, maybe there was a demon or two, but you could handle it. However, you're exhausted, and before going further to see the actual ruined freehold, you camp for the night on the shore. However, when you wake up in the morning, you feel something or some things moving around in you. And you're so hot. When you look down at your skin, you see it flushed red, and there seems to be things twisting and moving inside you. Your flesh will grow darker and darker, and then it will crack as thin tendrils of smoke come from all your orifices. All. Your eyes will cook in your skull until they burst. You will beg for death, and thankfully the pain will eventually stop your heart. That is when the worms with faces and snakes with hands will burst from your flesh, ranging from a few inches to a foot or more long, as they make unspeakable noises. Don't worry though, those with you have seen this before, and after pouring ice water on them, they all die. It's not all bad. At least you and Princess Aeria Targaryen had the same fate. Look at you, sharing a death with a princess. West of Harrenhal sits the Great Hill of High Heart, a very tall hill that has a special history that may make it haunted. This is because the High Heart was a sacred hill to the children of the forest that was absolutely desecrated. So as the story goes, when the Andals came to Westeros, they were intent on conquering. High Heart contained around 31 weirwoods the children of the forest had carved into. When Eric the Kingslayer, an Andal invader, saw these trees, he sought to cut them down. You see, the Andals followed the faith of the Seven, and the old gods were heathen gods to them. The weirwoods represented those heathen gods, and they had to go. The first men and the children of the forest fought bitterly against the Andals to preserve their holy grove, but in the end, all of them were slain. In modern Westeros time, the people of the Riverlands still shun this place, and it's claimed that the ghosts of the children of the forest still haunt the hill by night. So is the High Heart really haunted? I mean, the small folk think so. And when have they ever been wrong?